Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.
I was watching a Mr. Superboy video, and he was talking about Bill Cosby's incarceration in prison and a statement Mr. Cosby made regarding that incarceration. And in that statement, your Mr. Cosby says that he is not remorseful, and he says that he is a political prisoner. Now, I have to agree with Mr. Cosby. He has absolutely nothing to be remorseful about, because your Bill Cosby did not commit any crime, and he did not participate in the crimes that were alleged against him by the malicious prosecution from Kevin Steele and the black female prosecutor who supported him in this complete railroading and this farce in our justice system. Because Mr. Cosby did not commit any crime, and the previous prosecutor before your Kevin Steele knew this, and this is why he did not pursue any charges against Mr. Cosby 15 years ago. But this Kevin Steele decided to do this all so he could elevate himself politically, and the judge who supported him wanted to do this so he could elevate himself politically at Mr. Cosby's expense. Because your Kevin Steele ran for district attorney all with the intention to convict Bill Cosby. And that shows, as I see it, malice of forethought, and it shows a malicious prosecution if I ever saw one under the standard of law we used to be under, due process under the law. But we are no longer under due process under the law thanks to Kevin Steele, and that's because he wanted to go after Bill Cosby maliciously. Thanks to your Kevin Steele, the legal standard in this country is now trust and believe, and because your Kevin Steele wanted to trust and believe the 15-year-old allegations of this female, I forget what her name is, Andrea Constand, this is why this whole case came to fruition, because this overly ambitious, zealous madman wanted to move himself up at the expense of Bill Cosby. So when I look at this whole incident, it's all about Kevin Steele, and he used Bill Cosby as a way to springboard himself. And your Bill Cosby, again, has nothing to be remorseful for. But what white supremacists want to see from Bill Cosby as he spends his elderly days in prison is what they want to see is one of these sad, pathetic Negroes with his hat in hand, on his knees, begging the white man for mercy. That's what they want to see from Bill Cosby. But Bill Cosby understands that at this point in his life, he has nothing to lose, and they're going to do whatever they want, whether he is on his knees or if he's standing up. So he would rather live on his feet than die on his knees. So I respect Mr. Cosby for standing up like a man and continue to fight like a man, and let the world know that he is going to go out of this world like a man. He is more of a man than the cowards in that prosecutor's office, and he is more of a man than that cowardly black female who supported and enabled the malicious prosecution of Bill Cosby. And these malicious prosecutor, he doesn't even know that he may have tried to destroy Bill Cosby's legacy, but what he actually did was even worse to white men, because as it says in the Bible, you will reap what you sow, and as Pastor Charles Stanley has said, you will reap more than you sow, greater than you sow, and later than you sow. And what your Kevin Steele has done is he has planted the seeds for a bitter harvest for all white men in America in his attempt to try to destroy Bill Cosby. Because when it comes down to the legal precedent that your Kevin Steele has established in these United States, with re-establishing trust and belief as the legal precedent in this country, there's going to be more white men to suffer at the hands of that standard than anything as related to Bill Cosby's legacy. Because Bill Cosby's days on this earth, they may not be long in this world. He may not be much longer in this world. So his time may be just about over. But his legacy isn't going to go anywhere, because people are still going to remember Bill Cosby no matter what white supremacy tries to do to erase his legacy. His legacy will be there. But Kevin Steele's legacy, that's going to reap a bitter harvest for all of these white males out here coming up in the next 25 to 30 years, because those men are going to have to deal with a gynocentric Godzilla who is going to go around stomping on all of these white men, because with that legal standard of trust and believe, all they have to do is make one allegation against one of these white guys and his entire life can be completely destroyed. Yeah, you got Bill Cosby and put him in prison, but then you destroyed every other white man's chances of ever being able to actually have an opportunity at a relationship with a woman, and you've destroyed every other white woman's chance of ever finding marriage. You think that white women out here are asking, where have all the good men gone? Well, wait until 25, 30 years later, when this whole standard of trust and believe and this Me Too movement, which came about as a result of this whole Cosby thing, winds up bearing its fruit in the briars and thorns that are going to be coming up in 25 years. And that's the big problem with your white supremacists, is that they always think in the short term and they're always acting on their feelings. They sat there and thought about, we're going to destroy Bill Cosby, but don't see how they are going to destroy themselves, because that's what the big problem is with these white supremacists. They're sitting here thinking, oh, we got Bill Cosby, not understanding you're getting ready to take a couple of L's yourself, and you're taking big L's, because when it comes down to most of these men out here, more and more men are swallowing red pills, more and more men are going their own way, and more men are walking away from white females, more men walking away from white females than anything else, and they're sitting there thinking, oh, we got Bill Cosby. Well, that shows how weak and cowardly these white supremacists are, because you had to go after this man in his old age, and then you had to go after him with trumped up charges from Bozo the Clown, and you had to go out here with these trumped up allegations because you just didn't have the courage to go out here face to face against Bill Cosby, and you didn't have the courage to challenge Bill Cosby like a man. Bill Cosby is standing like a man even in his old age, and that's something I give Bill Cosby great respect for, because it takes a man to continue standing in the face of adversity, and it takes great courage to continue standing in the face of adversity. Again, Bill Cosby has nothing to be remorseful for, and he has nothing to apologize for, because he did not commit any crime. He was railroaded by a malicious prosecution from a greedy, zealous white male prosecutor, and he was railroaded through the criminal justice system by this overzealous prosecutor and that beta male judge and a jury that was not of his peers, and a jury that was clearly picked to maliciously prosecute and then railroad this man. And what this prosecutor, this judge, and that jury did was, again, they destroyed due process under the law here in the United States. They destroyed men's rights here in America, and they made America less safer. And that's what racist and white supremacists have been doing ever since the days of Jim Crow. Now, the Ku Klux Klan back in the day, they would go out here and lynch an innocent black man for the alleged rape or sexual assault of a white woman. And what that did was it made the community less safer for white women. But because these men were so caught up in their emotions, they couldn't see the damage that they were doing to their community, because the same criminals were going to be out here the next day. Yes, a black man was dead, but that same white male criminal would be out here to terrorize those same communities over and over again, while these beta males were sitting there getting off in their feelings, the community was suffering. And that's what's going to happen to America after this whole Bill Cosby conviction. Bill Cosby may be dead in his grave in a couple of years, but white supremacy is going to be feeling their bad decisions 20, 30, 40 years down the road, because they're going to be dealing with a gynocentric Godzilla they can't control. They're going to be dealing with a female that's run amok. And as that female continues to make these allegations as part of this Me Too movement, it's not going to be mostly black men being destroyed and having their reputations destroyed by these allegations by these females that Ternara Burke believes. It's going to be primarily white men dealing with this, because when it comes down to female nature, white females are hypergamous, and they want to get access at the biggest resources and the biggest provider of resources, and those providers of resources are white men. So they thought, oh, we're going to destroy Bill Cosby's legacy, destroy his resources. No, you have created a gynocentric Godzilla that is going to destroy you sooner rather than later. And Bill Cosby has nothing to be remorseful about, because he knows in his twilight years God has him, and he knows that he has to start focusing on his future with the kingdom of heaven and that future, and he doesn't have to worry about this life on this earth. Bill Cosby has done his work on this earth as I see it, and as an elder, I have nothing but respect for all of the work Bill Cosby has done to advance the black race and advance the black community, and he has empowered so many brothers and sisters out here like myself with the Cosby Show and many of the things he has done behind the scenes, like giving full ride scholarships to black people, and even standing up with that pound cake speech, at least to try to get black people to wake up, because look at all the work he did, and then you have these black people turning their noses up to it like pearls before swine. Instead of thinking to continue building on the momentum, they want to go back to the ghetto and the gutter because they want to fit in the black box that's acceptable to white people, instead of creating a standard for black people. Because I understood what Bill Cosby was trying to do with the Cosby Show back in the 80s. I understood when I was a kid growing up. He was trying to establish a standard for black people, and he was trying to help out black people, and even he tried to help out some white people, because NBC, like Mr. Superboy was talking about, they were this close to going out of business before Bill Cosby came along. Because I remember studying the ratings data, and NBC was at dead last. If it wasn't, again, like he said, it wasn't for Different Strokes and The Facts of Life bringing in those black viewers, that network would have died. Because I remember when shows like Cheers were in dead last place, and if it wasn't for The Cosby Show and Brandon Tartikoff bringing in Bill Cosby, there wouldn't be an NBC right now. Because if it wasn't for black people like Eddie Murphy, Gary Coleman, and Kim Fields, there would be no NBC right now. And what Bill Cosby wanted to do, he just wanted to buy this network, but because these white supremacists wanted to be able to control the white image and did not want a black man in power, they wanted to destroy this man. And they don't even see how their attempts to destroy his legacy are getting ready to destroy their legacy. Because again, you reap what you sow, later than you sow, and greater than you sow. And when it comes down to Bill Cosby, many of these white racists, they're thinking they're destroying him, but they don't know that they're getting ready to receive a very bitter harvest in the future. If you'd like to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to read some of my men's issues books like The Man Crisis, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.